Good morning from Fruitopia. We just had some beautiful Sunday morning rain, and I thought I'd take a chance to make a video of just how wonderful it looks in the garden, and really appreciate the feel of late spring. This is where I have the banana pups, the cuttings I take of extra bananas. So this is like their holding bay. These are the cherries which are almost ready. Seems to be some that are ready, but we usually wait until they're all ready before we start to pick. This is a better example on the Bing. The Bing tree is quite small. It's only about 3 years old, whereas the Stella over here is 10 years old. A couple of days ago, we had our first sugar cane. Wow, I was really impressed on how sweet it was. First time to have sugar cane in Melbourne. These are various herbs I've grown through spring in pots. We've got dill and sage and sweet basil and holly basil, and then some perennial spinach and coriander, cilantro, and some lemongrass, which is doing quite good. And here is some ginger as well, Japanese variety. This is the dragon fruit vine, which seems to be throwing out a lot of new shoots. It's going to be dry here after all the hot days we had the last 2 weeks of November. Really happy to see flowers already on the starfruit. This sort of just came out of hibernation last week after 3 months without any leaves. Starfruit. Here's another variety, a newer one that I planted only last year. Amazing results with the Jabuticaba. As you guys can see, it's really bushed out. Very happy here in Melbourne. This is the pink guava, which gave us our first fruit back in August, September. Check it out, how beautiful it looks. Now that we've had some great weather and loads of rain overnight, it's becoming a bigger tree. Pink guava. Majestic in Melbourne. This is the gyro variety not pomegranate, persimmon. It's taken off like never before. It's 5 years old, and it wasn't doing much, but this spring it's totally transformed into a tree from just a plant. Very proud of it. This is the large size, giant size fuyu fruit. The gyro. And this one here, guys, is the ice cream bean tree. Also 5 years old. It's grown into a sizable tree for only 5 years in Melbourne. And we also had the first beans back in September. And yeah, slowly but surely we're getting there with the ice cream bean tree in Melbourne. This is the Hass avocado. Check out how it's really done well over the last couple of months here in spring. It's become a, wow, 3 meters tall. Can't wait for the first Hass fruit. Maybe this coming year. It's just taken off like a rocket. Hass avocado. And now it's raining. Maybe a chance to show off some of the flowers. Bougainvillea. Purple variety. Bougainvillea variegated variety. And there we have the bright pink variety. And behind it, the fig tree. Also here I've got the tomatoes growing, which I do every year. Doing really good. These are heirloom variety. And we also have a light pink variety, Bougainvillea. Okay, I think the rain has stopped and we can continue now. This is the double grafted pear tree. So you got green pears throughout this side here, literally hundreds. This is like the most amazing year in the 12 years that I've had this tree. Literally beyond capacity. And on this side are the brown figs. It's not figs, pears. Jeez. So absolutely loaded with pears on one tree. And right beside the pear tree we have the main persimmon. This is a fuyu, which I've had for close to 10 years, and just like the pear, it's got a super bounty of fruit. Literally maybe 200 or 300 fruit on the fuyu. And right beside the persimmon we have the jujube tree, which has gone totally beyond anything I've ever seen. Looks like this year will be its big year also. It just gets bigger and bigger every year, almost doubling in size. Jujube, completely loaded with fruit. This is the Tamarillo tree, and it's growing in a pot, which is not ideal, but I didn't have much room for it, and hopefully we get some fruit. This is the orange variety, seems to be setting the first fruit right here. It's a beautiful tree, subtropical. And right next to the Tamarillo, we have another subtropical from Barbados. First time it's fruiting this year, and boy is it fruiting. This is called the Acerola, also known as the Barbados cherry. So I'm quite happy about this. And right here we have the custard apple tree. I've got two of them. This is the African Pride, which does well with hand pollination. It's just coming back after losing its leaves in spring. We've got one tiny fruit out of it this year, but hoping to get some bumper crop. So that's one of two. And here is the other one. It's a bit hard to see with all the green foliage. This is the other custard apple, also getting its leaves. African Pride variety, custard apple. And here we've got some more birds of paradise, and generally some beautiful flowers in spring. And right above all this is a 10-year-old Australian macadamia tree, which gave its first nuts last year, and it's just doing so well. So yes, macadamia nut does grow in Melbourne, and it does fruit. And it's also a beautiful tree. Macadamia in Melbourne. I'm going to wrap it up with these loquats. The same fruit with which this video began. This year was a low output of loquat, but still, even on a low year, as you guys can see, there's still some to be had. We've already picked quite a few, and this is what remains. So this was a tour of the backyard, and I'll be making a video of the front next.